Welcome to this Commander deck tech featuring Vadrok, Apex of Thunder, Mutatestorm. Vadrok is a 3/3 flying first strike creature for 3 mana, which is decent, but unimportant. More excitingly, he can mutate with any non-human creature you own for 4 mana. When he does, you may recast a non-creature card from your graveyard with mana cost 3 or less for free. Notably, Vadrok does not exile the card, so you can continue to use the same spell over and over again. He immediately caught my eye during Ikoria spoilers as a powerful value engine with an interesting deck building cost, needing both plenty of non-humans to mutate onto, as well as plenty of non-creatures worth recasting from the graveyard. The result is a fast-paced combo deck that always has a few small creatures for board presence. The first card I added is one of my favorites from last year's Commander set, Sevin's Reclamation. It interacts perfectly with Vadrok, copying itself whenever you cast the card from your graveyard. This spell lets you convert the mutate triggers into returning creatures and lands to the battlefield. With Sevin's Reclamation in the bin, the deck can effectively pull any cheap card from out of the graveyard, no matter the type. The next set of cards I added is the combo of Underworld Breach, Wheel of Fortune, and Smothering Tithe. With Tithe on the battlefield, cast Wheel of Fortune. Your opponents will each draw 7 and give you a large amount of treasure tokens. Now, cast Underworld Breach in order to escape Wheel of Fortune from the graveyard. Loop this until you have drawn your deck and created a ton of mana with treasure. When the library is empty or near empty, I use Thassa's Oracle to win, which can be grabbed from the graveyard with Reclamation and Breach. This combo is well suited to a Vadrok deck, since he can recast 2 pieces from the graveyard. Of course, these combos never go according to plan, so I've included a few less efficient alternatives since redundancy is critical in building commander decks. Kaikar, Dramatic Reversal, and Surly Badgersaur do mediocre impressions of the mana generation that Smothering Tithe gives, and Windfall is the next best wheel. Finally, Past in Flames is much worse than Underworld Breach, since it exiles the spells and only hits instants and sorceries, but I still play it just in case. Outside of Thassa's Oracle, the deck's win condition is unfortunately just plain damage. A combination of Glinthorn Buccaneer pings and buffed up Jeskai Ascendancy creatures during the wheel combo. Narset isn't really a win condition, but she does make the opponent discard their hands during Wheel of Fortune, which will win some games. Due to his mutate restriction, a Vadrok deck requires a higher density of creatures than other similar Storm decks in these colors. I've also chosen to only include non-human creatures. The deck misses Monastery Mentor, Young Pybro, and Baral, but I'm forgetful, so it's worth it to never illegally mutate a human by accident. The most important category of creatures is the cost reducers. These help to ensure we can dig quickly for the combo, while they sit around and wait to mutate. I've chosen to add more mutate creatures than just Vadrok. Most of them are not costed efficiently or particularly useful for commander gameplay, but it is still useful to reactivate Vadrok's mutate trigger while he is still on the battlefield, especially at instant speed with the Octopus and Shore Shark. I'll take a moment to explain the best mutate target in the entire game for Vadrok decks, Thing in the Ice. For the low cost of 2 mana, Thing in the Ice will bounce all non-horror creatures after a few spell casts, which is trivially easy to do in this deck. When Vadrok is mutated underneath Thing in the Ice, the mutate pile will be a horror, so you can swing freely with your 7/8 flying first strike commander. Less useful, but still worth considering, is mutating Vadrok on top of the thing, which means he is not a horror and will be bounced by the transform ability to the hand and is ready to be mutated again. The combination of this versatility and Thing's 7 power make it worth a slot in any Vadrok deck. The rest of the deck is built to ramp up with mana rocks, dig as quickly as possible for the combo with classic blue draw spells, and protect the win with removal and counter spells. These are mostly generic staples, so I won't go into any depth about them. I recommend looking over the deck list to see the specific choices I made. I do want to point out a few unique synergies. Quiet Speculation, the blue Buried Alive, is practically designed for this deck. It can fetch Sevin's Reclamation as well as a few other useful flashback spells like Echo of Eons and Faithless Looting. Commander Sphere, despite being only 3 mana, can sacrifice itself for free, so it is a useful card to recur repeatably with Vadrok and Reclamation. My personal favorite counterspell in the deck is Siren Storm Tamer, which is either a 1-mana mutate target or protection for the other creatures. That sums up this Commander deck tech for Vadrok Apex of Thunder Mutatestorm. Tune in next time for a Yasova Dragonclaw Pod Stompy deck. Thanks for watching.